Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negro. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watch this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. I also need to let you know that the subscriber mode has been enabled, meaning if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel, whether it be from the very beginning or just recently. I really appreciate all the love and support that you've given me. And I would not have the success without you guys. So I really appreciate it. And I see here when I have a comment, good evening, Gigi. I understand that you're doing a stream tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch it because it is past my bedtime. But what I will do is I will share it on my community tab and encourage the members of the Uncommon Folk to catch your stream. Okay. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, particularly Instagram and TikTok. I really appreciate your love and support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices and all those who watch from the clouds. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is the following. If you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. Okay. So, as you can see by the thumbnail, the topic for tonight is why go negative. Okay, I will be discussing that. And good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. So I will be talking about that in a few minutes. Before I do that, I have a couple of things to say in my words section, and of course we're gonna have another episode of what the heck this is. So, with that being said, give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so for my episode, okay, let's see what. Oh my goodness. Okay. So tonight episode, I'm gonna devote it to someone that was a friend of mine. Okay. Her name was Michelle Ford. She was a person that worked at my job. She's also was a fellow union rep, and she was a close friend, a close confidant, and she was basically my right hand person. So whenever I needed advice or anything, I was able to go to her. And whenever times that I did go out on medical leave, she picked up the slack while I was out. It is my sad news to report that she recently passed away. Okay. Of what? I do not know. I do know that she was not in good health for the last few months. She just recently retired from working for many years, working for the city of New York, and I don't know what funeral arrangements have been made. One thing I will do is that when we have a meeting with all the union reps of our local, I will ask for a moment of silence to be observed in our memory. Okay. Thank you very much, Gigi. But it just goes to show that, tomorrow's not promised to anybody. And one thing we have to bear in mind is we have to focus on what's really important. Unfortunately, people argue over trivial stuff or stuff that doesn't, I mean, it's not really all that important. And here is a person, she's just a couple years older than I am. I'm 61, who passed away. So she was still relatively young. So unfortunately, she was not able to enjoy her retirement very long, which is why it's very important that we take care of our health, whether it be our physical health, our mental health, or our spiritual health. We need to do all of that. And if we are able to do that, we'll live a long life, whether it be 60, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, or what have you. And unfortunately, life is so short. But that's why you need to value the people that God puts in your life, the positive people, like your family and friends and what have you, and be mindful of the fact that tomorrow is not promised to anybody. So I just want to say a huge shout out to Michelle Ford. May she rest in peace, and my condolences her to all her family and friends. Now, going from the sad to the absolutely ridiculous, we're gonna have another episode of What the Heck This Is. Okay. Now you're probably wondering who is the recipient of the What the Heck Award is. Is none other than our own favorite mental patient from Canada, Hybrid Vigor, or Hybrid the Sheriff. And I think he's Hybrid the Queen Maker, whatever the fluff he is. Okay, what I'm going to do is, first of all, let me just give you a little background. Last week, on Tuesday morning, my good friend Gigi was doing a stream regarding how certain people run their platforms like cults and what have you. So it was Gigi, Multi, Irby, my union sister, Keshal, and myself. So actually, Hybrid is going to respond to something that I have said all the time. Good evening, Ramon. Thank you very much for stopping by. Okay. And my philosophy has always been the following: if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. Meaning, okay, if you don't have an issue with me, why should I have an issue with you? Okay. One thing we have to bear in mind that when it comes to this platform, no one ever achieve anything on themselves. It takes others to help creators to achieve the success. And my platform is no different. Also, it's the same as the other people that I support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play audio bit. For, okay, free use. And this is what my friend Hybrid had to say about my philosophy that if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you.
Same thing Boss was doing. So it was true. He was pulling the same thing. Oh, I can't hang with people who have a different opinion. Oh, I can't. Well, that's an extreme opinion. Sorry, some opinions are strong enough that they would affect you, right? If somebody's doing something that's hurting somebody else, okay, and you to support them, even though it's not what it's for, you might still be. It still might be supporting their ability to do that to somebody else. So you're still participating in that way. It's not this cut. These fucking. I go in on these motherfuckers like Jose. If he comes to me and says, okay, the people are cool with me, they're not. Are the people I'm cool with? The people not cool with me. Get the fuck out of here. You're gonna be cool with Hitler. That's what I'm saying. You got to be cool with Hitler and be like, yeah.
Now, hey Keisha, how you doing? Now, let me tell you something. I have been with some sick people, okay? Sick, demented people. And to be compared to Hitler? Hitler? Why? Simply because of the fact that I get along with other people, and if people are cool with me, I'm cool with them. That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay? I'm sorry, that makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be my response to the mental health, mental patient fund Canada. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to play this. Okay. Make that make sense, folks. Make that make sense. Being compared to Hitler. Okay, look, let me tell you something. As much as I disagree with Zacharias, and as much as I think he has, he says some crazy stuff, not even Zacharias would say anything that bizarre. Okay? Just give me a moment. I mean, come on. I mean, being compared to Hitler? Really? Really? Why? Because here on my platform, people are allowed to come join me, and this is not an echo chamber, okay? And just so happens, hybrid for your information, the people that I support, they don't run their platforms like echo chambers, not like you, okay? So miss me with that stupidity. And this is just going to be addressed the hybrid, the queen maker, queen slayer, whatever the fluff is. Do yourself and do us a favor. Take advantage of that free health care that Canada provides. Get some therapy, or place yourself under a 72-hour involuntary confinement, and stop with your nonsense. Okay? And actually, you was the one kind of inspired me to give this talk for tonight. So, with that being said, we're going to get into the main topic. So the main topic for tonight is why go negative. Okay. Now let me explain to you what's going on and what led me to come up with this strain. Okay. Of course, you have various YouTube creators on these YouTube streets. Okay. And everyone produces different content. Okay. Some of it is positive, others is negative. Also, depending on what is your particular interest, you can find basically a platform that at least one or two people will produce their content. Now, you have certain individuals that try to grow their channel through negativity. Okay. And we have seen it. And I have seen it myself. So what I'm going to be talking about tonight is going to be my own personal observations based on what I have seen. And I'm going to be citing a couple examples. And yes, I'm going to be citing examples. And yes, I'm going to be citing names. Okay. There are quite a few of them. Okay. So the three I'm going to be focusing on is Fresh and Fit, Cynthia G, and Hybrid Vigor, or Hybrid the Queen Slayer, Queen Maker, Queen Fluffer, or whatever, whatever his delusional mind can think of. Okay. Now, in all fairness, until like a few months ago, well, with the exception of Hybrid, okay, until a few months ago, I didn't know there was such a thing as a Fresh and Fit. I didn't know there was a Cynthia G. And of course, I'm talking about YouTube creators that have been so toxic, so negative, that either they lost their ability to lose money or have their channels deleted. Okay. Now, what's the common thread with Fresh and Fit, Cynthia G, and Hybrid Video? What's common? The common thread is they either lost their ability to make money due to their content, or they have their channels deleted. Now, in the case of Fresh and Fit, um, to the best of my knowledge, their channel has not been deleted, but they cannot make money. When it comes to Cynthia G, she had her channel deleted 4 times, okay, and lost her ability to monetize more than once. And Hybrid Vicar had his channel deleted for violation of the community guidelines. Now, I understand that there's some people that's going to state that YouTube is arbitrary when it comes to its enforcement, and that they let other people who have stated more egregious content to fly. Okay. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that is the case. Excuse me, I got to take this phone call. Good evening, Rakim. Tonight's topic is why go negative. So as I stated before, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that YouTube is arbitrary when it comes to enforcement of the community guidelines. If that is the case, and I've stated this more than once, and I'm going to state it again, why give YouTube the motivation to have your channel deleted or to lose the ability to make money? Okay. Okay. Now, I mean, is YouTube arbitrary? I mean, actually, one can make an argument, but this is the thing. If that is the case, all the more reason why you try to mind your P's and Q's when it comes to the community guidelines. So let me just give you a couple of things to consider when it comes to these negative creators. What they want to do is create drama, okay? Some people cannot function in peace, okay? They have to be conflict. So what they do is they'll say outrageous things, or they'll do outrageous things, do outrageous things of that nature, for the purpose of trying to create attention, for the purpose of getting views, for the person to getting clicks, and to get subs. Okay. Now some people are able to get subs that way. And you know what? And I'm not here to judge them. But when I created my channel, I had a mission. Okay. It is to try to produce content within my lane. Good evening, Don Armando. Okay, so okay, so 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 and also another thing I didn't want to do is I didn't want an echo chamber. I didn't want to have people that come on my platform and just simply agree with me like sheep. Okay, people are allowed to express their point of view. Okay, which is different from with other platforms. Okay, and I am not trying to create some sort of a narrative. Okay, here on this platform, everyone, and I repeat, everyone is allowed to express themselves as they see fit without censorship. Okay, the only stipulation is that the people need to mutually respect each other. Okay, and not try to dominate the platform, because there are certain individuals that run their channels like an echo chamber. And heaven forbid you try to express a point of view, you will be blocked or you will be removed. Okay? It has happened to me and it has happened to other people. Okay? It's also happened to some of the people that's in the channel. So one of the things about these people is they try to create drama. They also try to create some sort of a narrative, like they are in charge, they are in control, they are the boss, they're the master, the king, whatever. Or like, a certain individual being the mulatto philosopher king. Please. Another problem with these negative creators is they cannot function in a peaceful environment. Okay. Now I've had the opportunity to be on Gigi's platform, Don Armando's platform, Intuitive Barriga's platform, 18 Leather's platform. I had been on Multi's platform. I've been on several platforms and that I actually support. And they have allowed me to express my point of view. Do they always agree with what I say? No. It's the same thing. There have been people who come to my platform and we have disagreed, but we kept it respectable. Okay, and that's the difference. The negative creators do not allow dissension. They don't allow other points of view. Okay, it's either their way or the highway. Okay, and I have been removed from Discord. Why? Because my only crime was supporting Gigi and Multi. Miss me with the bullcrap. And another, you see, one thing, when you go negative, you don't need to be creative. Okay. A perfect example. Okay, a perfect example is this: is Fresh and Fit. All this rhetoric that they stated against black men and different people. Okay, and some of them acting rather buffoonish. Now, here's an interesting question. No, no, you have allowed me to express my point of view. I'm not okay, Kesha, let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not referring to you. Okay, okay. You are a respectable, responsible, creative uh, creator. I am referring to those that have removed me from their platform simply for expressing a different point of view that didn't go along with the party line. No. Okay. And believe me, I have and I will continue to support your platform, Keshaw. As the same thing with Don Armando. It's the same thing with the 18th other, the Inter Gigi, Multi, and whoever. Okay. So I want to make that perfectly clear. Okay. But what I'm just doing is I'm talking about YouTube creators who have to micromanage and control everything. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, it's very easy to do reaction videos and give their critique. It does not require a great deal of an imagination. If you if you take a look at Hydrate's platform, it's chock full of reaction videos. Okay. Um, I don't know if that is the case. I do know that you have certain individuals down in Mamo that loves to talk about you, and that you're living rent free in their minds, or their pathetic minds. So, as I stated before, um, it does not require creativity. I mean, that's the difference. Okay. Now, with the YouTube creators that are on the chat, which is Gigi, Danamando, um, Kesha, Intro Película, 18th Letter, you all create content. And the content is productive. The content is good. Okay. It's not most of it is not reactionary. Okay. Now Gigi might do a short reaction video regarding something that she saw. I mean, and that's all right. It's her platform. She determines what goes on her platform and what is allowed on her platform. And this is something that certain people need to understand. Okay. So, another problem with these negative creators is they love to instigate issues. Okay. In other words, if there's no beef, they try to create beef. Why? So people can come onto their platforms and take a look at the buffoonery that's going on. Okay. And unfortunately, well, and the reality is, um, to a certain extent, it creates a lot of views. Okay. However, if you really want to be a serious YouTube creator and prosper, you have to produce content. You can't just be reacting. Okay. Look, if you take away the reaction videos I had, 90% of my content is still intact. That's the difference. Okay. Let's see. And of course, they create a false image. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's another problem here in YouTube, is that you have people doxing people threatening people. You have people that talking about their loved ones and what have you. Okay. And that's the difference. If I have a beef with you, it's going to be because of what you did. I'm not going to involve your kids. I'm not going to involve your spouses. I'm not going to involve your, because that's not necessary. The issue is with you, not with them. Okay. And the fact, for a person to involve loved ones is very foul, is very shallow, and does show how weak and pathetic you are. Now, before I forget, let me just remind everyone that the link to join the panel has been pinned. If anyone wishes to opine and join the panel, they're more than welcome to do so, or you're more than welcome to stay in the chat and just enter your comments. And one problem, see, another problem is when you constantly are going negative, in the long run, there's no long-term growth because basically it's like it gets to the point when you have to be more negative, more negative, more negative. And then the day when you stop being negative, then people don't want to watch your channel because they have certain expectations. Okay. Now, depending to what degree that you do go negative, sooner or later you're going to be violating the guidelines of YouTube. Now, if you're interested in finding what are those guidelines, you can look it up, and I would encourage you to do so when you have free time. But there's certain things you cannot say on this platform. You cannot use hate speech. You cannot advocate violence. You cannot post pornography. And the other ways that you can violate the guidelines. Okay. Now what will happen is they might give you a warning, but then again, if you continue to violate the same guidelines, what's going to happen is that if you are making money off of YouTube, you're going to lose your ability to do so. If you continue, you're going to lose your channel. Okay. And I've seen people losing their YouTube channels because of violation of the guidelines. And again, we can argue left and right regarding how the guidelines are arbitrary enforced, which goes for more the reason why you should not give them any ammunition to take your channel down. Okay. Now let me just highlight Cynthia Jean. Now she had her channel taken down not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. Okay. And why the hate speech regarding African American men? Now, as much as she's spoken against them, guess where she's going to revive her channel? To those same men that they call dusty beta males and what have you. And let's make this perfectly clear. And she admitted it to herself. She got pregnant by a dusty male that already had children from other baby mamas. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show. Okay. To a certain extent, for a while that they do, but after a while, it gets to a point when they go too. There's a point when you can go too negative, and then what happens is you lose your channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video clip. Just give me a moment. So what I'm going to do is, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video clip from O'Shea Drew Jackson regarding Cynthia G again. And I find it ironic that the same data, Dusty Beta Mills that she talks about, that she's trying to get them to save her channel. Yeah. Unfortunately, to a certain extent, it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to play the video. And of course, free use, free use, free use.
Good, everybody. It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Man, oh man, Cynthia G just cannot stay off my radar, guys. She just can't. It's no way possible that she can. She always wants to make a fool out of herself, but it's okay. I am here for the foolery. That is what I do best. Buffoonery, foolery, covering it. I love it. And Cynthia G wants to come after black men despite having been kicked off of YouTube for doing so. You would think that while you're pending trying to come back onto YouTube, you would probably chill and stop, but no. Let's double down. Let's double down on disrespecting black men because, you know, you really feel justified in what you do. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. We're going to help you here. We are going to help you here. So she does this while criticizing Jeezy and how Jeezy is disrespecting black women and making all these black women single mothers. I think this is very interesting. I want you guys to hear what she had to say about Jeezy, and then we're going to come back.
It's at the part, I think, where they're talking about how black men and black women need to have more of these discussions. This is a man putting on a show. Like, he just got rejected and his relationship flopped from this woman that's not black that was put on a pedestal. I really wish black women would see past this level of manipulation. This is manipulation that he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He knows exactly
and to who? Because black women are in the comment, have been in the comment section since this relationship lasted, acting like Jeezy is the victim. Jeezy is not the victim. This is yet another woman that he's impregnated and created a child with and then abandoned. Like, how are you needing to go to counseling with somebody that you've been married to for 2 years? Less than 2 years. Because he said therapy couldn't even help him. Why couldn't therapy help them? Are we going to put it on Jeannie Mai? Not to defend Jeannie Mai, because she should have kept her dark meat on the side. But at the end of the day, I don't think the relationship demise was because of Jeannie Mai, and nobody's going to convince me.
You know what? All I'm going to say about Cynthia G is, bless her. I mean, considering all the times that her channel's been deleted, you know, this is a saying: silence is golden. Cynthia G, become golden, and we will continue. And yes, there are women that said worse things other than Cynthia G said. The difference is they didn't have their channels deleted 4 times. Okay. So with that being said, we will continue again for use.
The Jeannie Mai is the reason for the demise of that marriage, and this is a man who literally created children with 3 women in a band.
Well, here's my issue too. Jeannie Mai, she's been very upfront with who she is and really what she's about. We know she's a social climber anyway. So when he got with her, what else did he expect? Did he expect respect? Did he think that she really cared about him? Did nobody tell this that an Asian woman's MO is to play the submissive role, and then once you marry them, they flip? White men know this.
especially to a black man, when all you hear them sitting up on the computer talking about is submission. From the celebrity black males to the low tier ones, all of them is, I want a submissive woman, submissive, which is the mantra of a dominated and conquered group of men. We know that the males in society who have the least power and authority are the most subjugated. They need somewhere to compensate for that.
So, guys, you've heard that, haven't you? That was very, very nice. I know that you heard that. But if you got
I mean, what can I say? First of all, that's why I don't use the word submissive, because it's like cursing. Okay, what mature men want is someone that can cooperate. Yeah, exactly. That is ironic. But you know what? Look, let me just make this perfectly clear. I'm not going to claim that he's a victim or she's a victim. I mean, they're both just as bad. Okay, but if I was Cynthia G, I wouldn't be trying to enter my 2 cents. I was just trying to get on the good graces of YouTube and just shut up. So now we will continue again for use.
guys forgot, because it's true. If Jeezy is making all these black women single moms, I believe that is true. But what happened to Cynthia G and her baby daddy? Because she's been preaching this message all along, but she went and got pregnant by a guy who made her a baby mama that had many other black women pregnant, like 5 or 6 that he never married. That was Robert Perkins. And then the guy didn't even take care of his kid, according to her. But I know that you don't believe me. I know that you can't believe me. It's fine. We're going to play that message right now on those receipts, and then we're going to come back.
In history have done that. So what she's ultimately doing is she's putting out some text messaging, and granted, the things that are in the messages I did say. I would never go back on the stuff that I said. As a grown woman, I have no problem admitting to stuff that I said. I said some things out of anger during a certain time. And so what's going on is this is being framed in a certain way to basically say that I met a man, Rob, and within 3 months I chose to go get pregnant by him. This is what is being said. Now, the thing of it is that this is not the case, because like I said, this person does not even know if I am currently pregnant, because I have not spoken to her in a while. So she wouldn't know, she wouldn't be able to validate if I was still pregnant or not. She would not be able to do that, because again, I have not spoken to her. But I would not lie and say the text messages and the stuff that she's showing is not true, because it is. And those things that are things that I've said, I said them in a certain context. That context is not being shown, of course, because when people want to show a certain narrative, they're going to show a certain narrative. So I'm being told that I'm a hypocrite. I'm being told that I've somehow chose a man who is a dusty beta male. I understand that I said certain things and messages out of anger. And like I said, I don't have a choice but to take responsibility for that, because I did say certain things. Now, do I think that this man is a beta male? Absolutely not. Did I meet him and then within 3 months decide and plan to be pregnant by him? Absolutely not. I certainly didn't do that. But there is a text.
The problem is, Cynthia G, that's what you did. That is what you did. You talk so much regarding the dusty beta males, okay? And what happened? You got pregnant by a dusty beta male yourself, okay? And talk about hypocrisy, okay? We have a word in that in Spanish, cojones, balls. So we will continue. I'm just going to play a little bit more of the video, and then I'm going to continue with the topic. Again, free use, free use.
Message where obviously I did talk about some conversations that we had, and I did say that we had a conversation about that, and that's because I met him and spoke to him and learned that he was a very intelligent man. I liked his character. I still like his character. That's just a reality of what it is. I do not quantify him by the amount of children he has or the amount of women that he has them by, because quite frankly, he is the most active father I've ever seen in my life. I've never met a man who was more, I've never met one who was more active or involved. I never met one who would do anything to make sure he's there to support his children. That's just the reality of what it is. And so if people are quantifying somebody being a dusty beta male based on how many children they have with how many people, then they're going to call them a dusty beta male, because they don't care about anything. They care about the fact that this man has children by more than one woman. So that's why they're quantifying him as a dusty beta male.
You see, Cynthia, you just can't get out of your own way, can you? I know it's very difficult for you to do that. You can't get out of your own way, but I'm here to help you, boo. I really am here to help you. I want you to know that I'm here to assist you in your endeavors. I'm really that person for you. I want you to know that, and I want all the sisters that listen to you to know how big of a hypocrite you really are. Okay? How they're going to end up like you if they keep listening to somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. How can you? It's like, you know what Cynthia G is like, in my honest opinion? She's like the drug counselor that wants to spread awareness to stop using cocaine. Remember they had this campaign in the 80s? Just say no to drugs. Okay, just say no. But has it ever occurred to you, what if the person that says just say no to drugs is the person selling it? Just say no to drugs. It's the person that's using. The person is coming to all the activations outside high. He or she is loaded. Would you take somebody like that seriously, guys? Could you ever take somebody like that seriously? Do you?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop it here. I'm sorry, but Cynthia G is a walking contradiction among herself. Okay. And this is the thing I find bizarre. Now I get it that there are women that said worse things than what Cynthia G said. And you know what? You're probably right. You're probably right. The difference is they didn't get their channels deleted 4 times. Okay? And now she's trying to get back on the good graces of YouTube. And she cannot take her foot out of her freaking mouth. Make that make sense, people. Make that make sense. Okay? And another thing regarding these negative creators is they don't use the gray matter that God gave them. Okay? When I see someone like a Chivo 2121 or Kim 123 or Kim Macho the first or Kim Macho whatever, and Hybrid the Queen Slayer Maker Fluffer, I don't know, whatever. They don't use the launcher that God. They don't use the gray matter that God gave them. Okay. Now, let me just give you. Okay. Another problem when you go constantly going negative, eventually you're going to drive people away. You're going to drive people away because serious people are going to avoid those channels like the plague. Okay. Now, okay, let me make this perfectly clear. Okay, first of all, everyone has valid points. So let's make that perfectly clear. And again, I get it. There are women creators that said worse things than Cynthia Jane. I get it. I understand. Again, the difference is they didn't get their chance to lead it multiple times. And then having to go to the same quote unquote dusty beta black males to save her platform. Okay, so basically she is on line support and she's trying to go to the same people that she rejected to save her can. Make that make sense, people. Make that make sense. And again, you're going to lose supporters, and in time you will get community strikes. Okay, because what's going to happen is you're going to have people that they're going to flag your channel, complain to YouTube that you say something or did something that was in violation to the guidelines. Okay. And eventually, if YouTube decides to scrutinize your content, and in their determination, you have done or say anything that warrants your channel to be deleted, it will be deleted. If you say or do anything that warrants it, losing your ability to make money, that's what's gonna happen. Okay. And again, I get it. There are people who feel that YouTube is arbitrarily enforcing their guidelines. I get it. Which brings me to this question. If that is the case, why the fluff you're going to give YouTube the motivation to have your channel deleted? Okay. That's all I'm saying. Why? And of course you can try. Okay, of course you can. Try to create another channel, and that channel might be deleted, and then you try to delete another channel. But after a while, I mean, how many bites of the apple you're going to get? Okay, and again, I will agree. There have been men and women that said things worse than Cynthia G advocating the sub-deletion of Black fetuses. The difference is, again, folks, they didn't have their channel deleted multiple times. And that's something that has to be understood. Okay? So, you can't lose supporters, you can lose your channel, you can lose your ability to create money. Because realistically speaking, when you have the ability to make money, and you have different companies that wish to advertise, they want to advertise in a platform where it's not going to damage their reputation. Okay? When you're constantly calling for the deletion of Black males, or you're constantly calling for women to be great or whatever, or you advertise porn, or you defame a certain group, okay, you run the risk of having your channel deleted. Now, I have disagree with a great deal when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. But with all that, I have never said anything arbitrary towards the community. I express my point of view and I keep it moving. Okay. And that's something that we need to understand. Now, I have been talking for almost an hour. Okay. So if anyone wants to join the panel, by all means do so. If anyone wants to add any further comment, you're more than welcome. If not, I'm going to start to wrap this up, okay? Because this is not an echo chamber here. Here, people are allowed to express their point of view. And if by some chance that we disagree, that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly fine. And just give me a moment. And and I understand people may not agree with me. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Excuse me. So, anyway, so what is my take regarding the situation? If you're thinking about creating a YouTube channel, okay, and I think there was one point, let me see if I can find it, that Keisha made. Let's see. Here's an interesting point. I think as YouTube creators, we need to have morals and values, and often certain things should be left off limits. I agree. Okay. Which is why I may have a disagreement with someone, but I would not go personal. Okay, you know what? That may be true. That may be true. I'm not saying that he's innocent either. Okay. I'm not saying he's innocent. He's far from innocent. And and I think deep down, now I see here we have, excuse me, just give me a moment. So we have someone here. So before I let my guest in, let me just state that the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host of the channel. Any attempt to copy material without the consent of the host is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your rights to your image. Some of the views that people hold may be considered offensive to some viewers. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. Now, let me just properly welcome my guest. Okay. Now, Gangster Dogs, I need you to cam up in the backstage before I let you on because I want to make sure. Okay. All right.
What up, Mo?
Good evening. How you doing?
I like that. I'm chilling. Dang, I was just actually trying to get the Bronx accent in here and everything like that. But how's everything doing, Jose?
I'm doing fine. So basically, the topic for tonight is why go negative.
I'll tell you why I go negative. You know why?
Hmm.
Because most people who are negative, they don't really take a bath or have personal hygiene. So therefore, since they actually live in a filthy environment and all they see is negativity when they live in a filthy environment, they'll have nothing better else to do than just to be negative.
Okay. You know what? I think there's a couple of reasons why people love to go negative. Um, some of it is just pure, to create, create views or drama or what have you. So, and unfortunately, to a certain extent, people become successful, but it's only temporarily because eventually people are going to get sick and tired of, you know, of the negativity and, just depart.
I mean, yeah, but then if you really look at it, some of these, like for example, me, somebody came up and they were just mad because I have friendships and everything like that. So there's a there's a there's a
Yes.
rumor which is being spun saying that just because I'm friends with somebody that we're jointly harassing somebody, when the fact is when if anybody looks at my content, we talk about the stuff that's regular and everything like that, rarely mentioning people. So with that said, and people are going around talking about how they're gonna take down whatever what I have and everything. I'm like, wow. I guess I do live free, want free in certain people's heads. I didn't know I
Yeah.
was that good looking.
Hmm. Well, apparently, for some reason, simply because I believe in the philosophy that if you're cool with me, I'm cool with good. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. Or there's something, I'm cool with Adolf Hitler.
To me, it's a very stupid concept. Like for example, I have friends who are cool with my enemies, right? Am I gonna go to Am I gonna go and diss my friend just because they're cool with my enemies? No. Well, I'm a very equal guy. As long as you don't talk crap about me to these people, okay, we could still be friends. But if you go and you let that person disrespect me in your presence and you don't check them, that means that brings the assumption, are you really my friend or not? Now, what I see in other circles, I mean, in these YouTube streets, is like if I'm your friend and I don't know who the heck you are, why the heck you're gonna slander me when I don't even know who you are? You're
Yeah.
just mad because I'm friend with the person that you don't like, so therefore you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go and try to make that person's life hell. But yet at the same time, you're not even you want to create all this. A person wanted to create all this drama just because a person's a friend. So they think that you're gonna stop being friends just because you do all these stuff. That makes a person even want to be a friend to them more.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I agree. But it's just that unfortunately, you have a lot of people who don't think. Gigi, if you're still watching, I just want to let you know that I already shared the stream on my community tab. So my supporters will check out the stream. Those who are able to stay late to do so. Unfortunately, it is past my bedtime. So, continue, Don Armando.
yeah. But then talking about Cynthia G and all these other people, I mean, if you really look at it, Cynthia G, I'm I don't know her, but I've seen like certain interviews where she's have a very nasty disposition against some of her guests. So when a person has a nasty disposition, and then You can see the ignorance where you and a person will go and curse each other out just because of one point that you don't agree with. It shows that a person is not really mature. And then when you actually use curse words just to insult a person, that says that your vocabulary is very limited.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, let's say for example, if you and I have a debate, right? And then
Yes.
we're talking about a point without being emotional. That shows the level of intelligence that you and I have. But if I'm talking a point and then the next thing you know, I make it personal by dissing somebody that or dissing what your status is or anything like that, you're actually deflecting from the point that what the debate is about, and then you make that debate into a full personal argument. But when y'all make a personal argument insulting each other, the point that y'all were debating becomes null and void.
Mhm. Let me make it perfectly clear. I have disagreed with virtually every person that appear on the platform at least once. Okay. The difference is we were agreeable and respectable when we disagree.
Right.
Okay. That's the difference. So, I mean, look, on the surface, the negative creators, they do well in the beginning, but after a while, people start to get tired of the same old, same old. So it's like,
Oh,
go ahead.
there's a point that I talking about these negative creators and everything like that. Okay, if you ask, I believe that some of these negative creators they want to actually reciprocate or act like radio or media personalities before them. For example, certain people will try to reciprocate what Star and Buck Wild says on his platform, right? Or the late
Yes.
Don Imus or Howard Stern, which is actually on Saturday Night Radio. So certain people will have to pay for just to hear a raw, uncut broadcaster saying what they'll have to say about life and everything, etc. Via a person who is a shock jock and who professionally does this just to get a reaction. You'll have certain people that will try to make YouTube like a shock jocks station, so therefore they could get more followers and everything. But then when they
Mhm.
get kicked off and such, I think if they really want the shock value, I think they need to go to Rumble because Rumble is in a certain context that has become like the new Sirius XM to negative content creators.
Mhm. Yes, but eventually, even Rumble is going to want a piece of the advertising pie. So what's going to happen is sooner or later, Rumble is going to have to change the rules governing their platform, which means that certain individuals, if they don't adapt, they're going to lose their platforms. Okay. And that is the problem. You have certain creators that don't know how to adapt, and they're under the assumption because everything was okay 2 years ago is going to continue now. No,
Right.
situation changes, rules change. Okay, reality changes. Okay, that's a fact. That is the fact of
Yeah.
life. I mean, I do not think the way now that I think 30 years ago. Okay, I was a different person. was a younger person. I did not have the experience or or the knowledge that I had 30 years ago. So obviously, I'm not going to think or act as I did 30 years ago, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. Like for example, when I was like in my teenager or in my 20s per se, I actually thought that crime was cool. Now I
Yeah.
see that crime is detrimental to is detrimental to our society. Even though certain people need to be victims of crime. That's all I got to say. I say certain people,
Eventually,
not all.
okay. Well, eventually, if you want to do well in life, you have to adapt. Okay, and it begins when you are a baby. When you are a baby, basically your only function is to eat, poop, and sleep for the most part. Eat, sleep, and poop. And maybe, say a little goo goo gaga and crawl on the floors. And then eventually the child is walking with the aid of a stroller. And then the child's walking, and then the child's running, and then the child's speaking actual words and complete sentences. And now I see we have another guest, so let me just properly welcome him. Good evening, Akim.
Good evening, Jose. Shout out to you. Shout out to Don. How you guys doing tonight?
Fine. How you doing
Oh,
tonight?
I'm all right.
yeah, we're doing good.
Okay. So the topic tonight is why go negative, and of course we have to mention certain individuals like Fresh and Fit, and of course our favorite, the gift that keeps on giving, Cynthia G.
Yeah.
But you know what I find very ironic? That she's gone to the same people that called in a bunch of dusty beta males to say for platform.
Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. And those men that she went to, those was alphabet boys. So, and I'm not talking about the FBI. So those was a different kind of man that she went to. But it is what it is. The topic that you got, and I'm not gonna stay up long, but I just wanted to speak on this. The topic that you got as far as why go negative, because negativity spreads faster than positivity, and negativity sells, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, let's keep it real. When it comes to creators that actually try to create content that is relatively wholesome or have some value, it's going to take a while for them to grow up. Okay. But the reality is that the growth is more genuine and it's long lasting. And as I like to say, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. There's going to be weeks
Facts.
where you're doing everything right as you can understand doing content and no one sees it, and then all of a sudden you pick up a topic that you least think is going to be popular, and next thing you know it's being blown up. That's the reality.
True.
Okay.
No, but for some reason, what I've read, like for anybody to be blown up fast and everything like that. It depends on, I guess, the camera that you use or whatsoever. And then sometimes if it's like a clear resolution or something, that resolution is going to be will actually draw more viewers in than a person that's not using the high resolution camera. That's what I've heard so far.
Yeah. I think a good camera does help, but what also help is you actually spend the time trying to come up with topics that people are interested in, whether it be the weather, whether it be politics, whether it be sports or whatever, or whether it be the latest fan sub du jour, if you understand what I mean.
Well, I was just gonna touch on what you were saying earlier, as far as the whole Cynthia G debacle goes. Because I believe Gigi left in the chat that O'Shea Duke Jackson was involved in this type of negative rhetoric, which to an extent, if you want to say that, I agree. But I don't equate clowning on somebody or dragging somebody as the equivalent of hate speech. I just don't. I never heard O'Shea or any other people in the manosphere advocate for the deletion of black young black girls. I never heard that. I've never heard anybody in the manosphere bring on racists to justify their talking points. I never heard that. Even the most negative people in the manosphere doesn't equate to what you will see on a Divested Zealots chat room. It doesn't equate. I've never heard anybody in the manosphere call women racial slurs or anything like that. Now, if you want to say dragging or calling certain things out, and if that could be considered harsh, then so be it. But it's a very big difference between dragging somebody versus hate speech based upon, your ethnic background. That's an extremely big difference. As far as what's going on right now, it was only a matter of time, and everybody's doing this for money. Most of these people are doing this for money. It's their own personal channels, their own channels as far as being able to cater to their audience. I mean, if you look at, for instance, people are selling people junk that they don't buy by themselves. I'll just use Paris Milan, for example. When Paris Milan has actually been lying to her subscribers, telling her subscribers to not date certain men and leave these men alone and femicide this and femicide that. But Paris Milan didn't even let anybody know that she was married. She didn't even come out and let no one know that she was married until someone behind the scenes was going to expose it. So she wanted to be ahead of the curve, and she came out and let people know that she was married to a black man at that. And a lot of her subscribers didn't know how to feel about it, because one of the reasons they didn't know how to feel is because she's been lying to them and feeding them garbage for so long that they've become addicted to, that certain people did not want to call her out and call her a hypocrite, which she was. It was only a few people that actually called her out. So meanwhile, you're telling, all of your subscribers, don't settle, don't do this, don't do that. But meanwhile, you're sitting up here with a ring on your finger that you kept hidden from everybody. So a lot of these people do not have their subscribers' best interests at heart. I can at least say I don't agree with everybody in the manosphere. I don't go to everyone's circles in the manosphere, but for the most part, haven't heard the extreme speech on the manosphere's end that I have heard within these divestment spaces and these different other spaces. Same thing with Chrissy, who has manipulated her audience and lied to her audience to actually brainwash her audience into believing that biracial women or light-skinned women was the cause of these women's insecurities, which was completely a lie. And the hate speech that she's engaged in, and she hasn't been as extreme as the other ones, but Chrissy has definitely insinuated things. She's involved. She's been involved in different hate speech that she and Paris Milan have both deleted off of their channels and have deleted lives afterwards because they know that they said crazy things in those lives that they don't want to be able to trace back, or for people to get their hands on those lives that they did to be able to
All right.
criticize.
Another thing is, though, I'm not really familiar with Chrissy or her channel because I'm just hearing the name and it's just new to me. Rakim and Paris Melion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, those are people those are people in that particular space. Another one would be the Pink Pill and all of these different. And the funny thing about the situation is they're not giving their subscribers any type of answers to their issues at all. They're just what you call rage porn. They're just giving them rage content to feed into their insecurities, to feed into their hatred for super chats and cash apps. That's all it's been for the most part. You've had what's her name, Nyla Says, also, who was engaging in hate speech, right along with Woman's Fear. I've ran past a lot of these channels, man. I know Lexus Exodus. You're right about one thing, Jose. Cynthia G is not the worst. Lexus Exodus, Mahogany Pink, Cerebral, all of these different. And then even the smaller channels that was involved in like all of this negative hate speech. And how ironic that, because when Cynthia G first came on here, she used to talk about the evil albinoids, and then once she got canceled for what they would consider hate speech against white people, when she came back to YouTube, she switched it up and she started using hate speech against black men. And for the longest time, it worked because there's no consequences for when you say anything negative about black men. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. We've seen the hate speech from the Hispanoteps. We've seen the hate speech from certain men in the golden sphere. We've seen the hate speech from the divestors and all of these other people. We was getting it from every which direction that you can possibly think of. You would have thought.
Right, but talking about the Hispanoteps, there's been 2 Hispanoteps that have gotten their channels deleted. I'm not going to say their names because they're useless, but one got their channel deleted like maybe in the crux of 4 times, and then the other one just recently got his channel deleted. So therefore, it looks like that all the stuff that they are actually doing is actually getting some desired blowback.
Yeah, because another thing that people don't understand is that it's election time, ladies and gentlemen. It's election time. And I think that definitely plays a part in it, But yeah, and now all it took for Cynthia G's channel to get deleted, because if you notice, nobody stopped when Tommy Sotomayor got kicked off. Nobody stopped when Fresh and Fit got demonetized. None of these women stopped with their channels. It took for Cynthia G to get demonetized and kicked off of YouTube for everybody to start running like roaches when the lights come on.
Yeah. Speaking about roaches, now there's something I have said on numerous occasions, which is basically, if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. Apparently, one individual had an issue with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio again to illustrate.
Supposed to be saying me, but obviously you can't. I give arguments and I give evidence for everything I claim. But all the things I claim have been predominantly supported by science, right? And the reason why she's doing this is because she can't address. They're not able to address what I'm saying. narcissistic to assume everything about us.
Okay, I think just give me a moment.
Yeah, I'm talking about the jealousy where you're coming from the cult. Yeah, you did. You're talking right. Who's trying to be? Who's even sees themselves as leaders? Who? I tend to do, and so does she. The same shit when we were checking her for Bossy, because you'd hang around, promote Bossy over and over, and we should check. Well, look, I mean, because how bad she was. Now she's doing the same things Bossy was doing. So it was true. He was pulling the same thing. Oh, I can't hang with people who have a different opinion. Oh, I can't. Well, that's an extreme opinion. Sorry, some opinions aren't strong enough that they would affect you, right? If somebody's doing something that's hurting somebody else, okay, and you to support them, even though it's not what it's for, you might still be. It still might be supporting their ability to do that to somebody else. So you're still participating in that way. It's not this cut. I will go in on these motherfuckers like Jose. If he comes to me and says, okay, the people are cool with me, they're not, are the people I'm cool with, the people not cool with me, get the fuck out of here. You're gonna be cool with Hitler? That's what I'm saying. You got to be cool with Hitler.
Now think about it, guys. I'm cool with Hitler now.
Well, if you're cool with Hitler, I'm cool with Mussolini. So who cares?
Who was that? Yeah, who was that?
That's a demented individual from Canada known as Hybrid Vigor, the so-called mulatto philosopher king.
Yeah, I don't be knowing a lot of people. But yeah, like, so out of those spaces that I frequented, yeah, a lot of the guys, even in the manosphere, you're talking about men that got PhDs, men that has actually done the research and the work, and studied on the gender dynamics between the two sexes, and really it's all just a fight to keep people in positions of power. If you notice what's going on, right? When you think about, like, everything that defines who a person is, race, sex, gender. Well, they, divided us like people in power. They divided us by race to the point that they got everybody fighting against each other for crumbs at the bottom while they're going out the back door with the money. To a certain extent, that's not working as well as it used to. So now they've divided people with the whole gender war thing and got men and women fighting against each other because in society they decided to elevate women and make women think that, they're going to the moon and beyond and don't need men, which has caused an effect within society and dating and relationships. And now they're going to gender. They're going into gender to keep more confusion going. That's why you got people that's non-binary and I can be this and I can be that, and Transformers trying to go into women's bathrooms, and so it's all a play, man. It's all a play about trying to keep the money and power. And if we keep going down this rate that we're going, as far as people not getting married or having relationships, it's going to get to the point where it's only going to be the elite. Marriage is only going to be for elite people, the rich and the wealthy, who's going to keep getting married to keep the money, passed down from generation to generation. Meanwhile, people at the bottom or people that's middle class are no longer getting married because the gender dynamic has gotten so bad.
All right, and one thing I gotta add to this is because I do agree with that point. And then if you really look at it, when they're talking about marriage and the gender wars and everything, I mean, it's getting to the point that it's gender wars. Is to the point that people don't even want to even identify with their gender. They just want to say like, "Hey, I identify as a car" or something like that, or "I identify as a tree." Or you have certain people that they want to actually say that they want to identify as being a baby or something like that. I want to identify with something that is real crazy to me at the end of the day.
Well, you know, the fact of the matter is, by calling Hyper Daffy Duck, I think it's an insult to Daffy Duck, because Daffy Duck actually, you know, sounds more coherent. But look, the whole when everything is said and done, I think you need to make a determination as far as what is your purpose on this platform. Okay,
Money.
what you're
Money all
trying
day.
to do. I'm sorry.
Money. Money is everybody's. You got to understand, man. A lot of people, they're not doing so well, you know, in life. A lot of us, you know, are just making it with our heads above water. So they're trying to figure out a way that they can monetize people's pain. They can monetize people's ignorance, and they can monetize people's insecurities. And that's usually, you know, and that gives everybody a dopamine hit. And what I mean by dopamine is like a high. You know, I can only imagine. I mean, I'm happy when I see 10 people watching my streams. Can you imagine when it's over 500, 600, 700 people? And everyone's giving you cash and donating just to come in and hear you speak, even if it's BS. Still, you know, they're coming there to, you know, to hear you speak about, you know, whether it's foolishness or not.
Well, let me tell you something. Within a 4-week period, I actually gained 11 subs. Okay. And the best part is I didn't have to go negative.
Yep. I lost like maybe 3 subs and then gained them back. It's crazy like that.
So yeah, that's pretty much all it is to it. And people are willing to mislead people and manipulate people and all types of stuff for subs and cash apps and super chats, man, because that's paying their bills at the end of the day. The reason, I mean, look at, you would have think as much as Cynthia G was talking, she would have had everything in order. But as soon as you lose both of your pages, you start a GoFundMe. And the crazy thing is, she would have still probably been able to refute and get her page back had she not been so thirsty to go make another one. Because when you try to create content and create another page and your other page is under review, that gives YouTube an incentive to kick you off. But she didn't know that.
Well, you know, I have said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it again. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that YouTube is arbitrarily enforcing its guidelines. If that is the case, why give the YouTube the ammo to have your channel shoot down? Why?
Because I got to take the risk, because I got to keep people coming in here to hear what they want to hear. See, you got to remember, a lot of these people was doing this before YouTube switched up their rules. So everybody, you know, there's millions of channels on here. So everybody's thinking that they can go under the radar and not get caught. And I got to keep this type of energy going, because this is what's paying my bills. I'm dependent on YouTube. I'm dependent. I need it. Like, I need the money on here. And the funny thing is, when your subscribers are feeding you, you got to keep that type of energy going, because if you don't keep that energy going, they don't support it and you don't eat. So.
Okay. Well, fortunately for me, I am not depending on YouTube to pay my bills, because I actually got a job. Okay. So if I make any money off of this, it's just gravy.
I'm just at a point that I'm trying to be a good content creator and maybe be like Mark Weens, where I just make videos and such like that. So therefore, I guess I might own my own franchise or company. But until then, I work and I just try to be on the grind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we talked about this enough. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to take final remarks. First of all, if either one of you wish to share a little bit regarding your platform and what you're trying to do, by all means, Rakeem, why don't you just share a little bit regarding your platform?
Oh, I just do it because there's certain topics that I want to talk about. I'm not looking to get monetized, and I'm not looking to have a whole bunch of subscribers, anything like that. I just want it's just certain topics and subjects that I want to speak upon, and that's the only thing I use it for. Sometimes it's serious subjects, sometimes it's subjects that I want to have fun. But other than that, I don't look at YouTube as a means of income. And it's definitely not a means, in my personal opinion, it's not a means of reliable income. A lot of people, like you said earlier, Jose, a lot of people can go over to Rumble, but Rumble's not paying what YouTube is paying. Rumble is still at an infant stage. And we should know, because we were all here on YouTube when YouTube was still in its infancy, when it was mostly, 2008, 2009, when it was, when you can still play music and videos and everything else like that. The people made YouTube what it is now. But like every business model, people should know, once the small people, the worker bees create the platform for what it is to be, then once that platform has another agenda, or they have their own personal interests set aside, then they, cast those people to the side. They grew the platform. So that's pretty much, where we're at. And that's the business model that's been used forever. Remember all of those TV shows Fox used to have on? Remember when Fox used to have on New York Undercover and Martin and Living Single, and, ABC Family had Family Matters and all of these different shows? Well, they only wanted those shows to go for a particular season to get their ratings up. Then after they got their ratings up, they cast those shows to the side. I mean, hell, we remember when MTV was nothing but music videos. Now it's just reality TV shows. So that's a business model that's been working forever, and it's no different. People are just going to take that business model and apply it to whatever, whether it be the internet, social media, or anything that's created in the future.
Okay. Don Armando, would you like to share a little bit regarding your platform?
Yes, my platform is actually it's just an open forum, and then I'm just trying to promote Dominican rap music. But also, I would just like to say that I'm actually a Mussolini supporter. With that said, I support a lot of fascism, and I've actually started my own group, which is called the Save Supremacy. So what it is that me and my people don't like where this country is going, because everybody's becoming Team Harry, and I just want to make the U.S. a nice, clean, and shaved. So therefore, that's why I started my group, which is called the Shade Supremacy. So therefore, it just has to be Team Shade. That's it. Now, but disregard the last part. I was just trolling.
Okay.
So, but mostly, I'm just my platform is just to promote Dominican music and get people's opinions on the important topics that's actually affecting the world.
Okay. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to take closing remarks, because I do have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It would have been nice if some of the ladies that joined the platform expressed their point of view, but it is. So, Rakeem, what are your final thoughts as it pertaining to the topic?
Well, thank you for allowing me up, Jose. My final thoughts is that all good things must come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. So I hope everybody got their rocks off and everybody had a good time, engaging in this hate speech, because YouTube is cracking down. YouTube is cracking down, and hopefully they store some of that money away that they made off those cash apps and super chats. And for Cynthia G, good riddance. And how ironic it was a white woman. How the hell is a white woman going to call you out and get your channel shut down for making making hate speech against your own men? Now, ain't that a trip? Now it's bad when a white person's like, nah, you out of control. You OC, you out of control. And this coming from a white person. Like, so I think that should be proof enough to show that, what happened to Cynthia G was well deserved. Same thing with Fresh and Fit. What happened to them was well deserved. I'm not shedding a tear for none of them. And like I said, she engaged in hate speech and a lot of other people, and it's good because since her channel's been shut down, everybody is hiding in the crevices and the corners of YouTube trying to delete all of their content that was involved in similar speech. And she's, as you can see, when she came on that on Mr. Sweetie Pie's channel, Storm Monroe, when she came on his channel, she sounded all humble and trying to be respectful. She wasn't as angry out as she is because she was doing it all for YouTube. So,
Well, thank you very much, Rakeem, for stopping by. There's not going to be a backstage tonight. But I will be doing another stream on Friday. Actually, it's going to be the humorous moments of my platform for 2023. So thank you very much for stopping by. And of course, if you have not done so, please show some love from my cyber son, the 18th letter, and check out his content. And Don Armando, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is that I'm glad that a certain content creator got their channel deleted. We don't have to hear about the dreaded speeches of that person, or that person wants to be who's a self-appointed police on a person's identity, when the fact is that person was not even there when that person was born. So with that said, I'm glad that certain toxic content creators got their channel shut down. And I'm just gonna say, before December, just stay tuned. A lot of other toxic content creators are gonna get their channels shut down because of their antics. So just sit back and enjoy the popcorn.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, if you have not done so, please check out Don Armando's channel, subscribe and show some love to our fellow Latino and Dominican, regardless what people will say or have said. Thank you very much, Don Armando, for stopping by.
Thank you, Don Jose.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Okay. Look, the whole point is not to rag on negative creators, but is to highlight certain things that that the negative creators do. And, on the surface, they do well, but eventually it's going to get to the point where they're going to lose supporters, and then they're going to lose their ability to make money, and then eventually they're going to lose their ability to produce content. I think we're going to see more platforms being deleted for violation of the community guidelines. Again, one can make an argument that YouTube is being arbitrary in enforcing its community guidelines. I go back to my point, and it's even more the reason why you should not give them the ammo that they need to take down your channel. Okay? It's common sense or correction, uncommon sense. So a huge shout out to all those who appear on the chat. A huge shout out to all those who appear on the panel. Now, this Friday, I'm going to be doing a stream talking about, thank you, Irby, good night to you, regarding the humorous moments of 2023 on my platform, because yes, there were some humorous moments. So basically, it's a time to laugh, and hopefully some of you will show up. I will be on 10. I might push it to 10:30. We will see. Okay. But in any case, for the people that go to watch it on the playback, of course, your comments are always welcome. Just keep it respectful, okay? Because if not, you will be blocked. So, with that being said, I'm going to continue to be the best version of myself. So, I'm going to close the same way I always close. We must do everything possible to minimize our content presence with the mentally and intellectually challenged. Because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Wishing all of you a good night. Take care and peace.